the last hour or so, we've got this new study around something that you might have heard of, you might have done, you might be doing yourself, called intermittent fasting, IF. And it finds that it may nearly double the risk of dying from a heart issue. So remember, this is a kind of diet where you only eat like at certain times a day or within a certain time window. This study examined its impact on 20,000 Americans, the whole thing, raising some red flags about what's become a pretty popular way for some folks to try to lose weight. Now, the authors of this study say that fasting for 16 hours or more every day, in their words, significantly increased the risk of some kind of a heart disease-related death. I want to bring in our medical contributor, Dr. Kavita Patel for NBC News here. There's a lot of studies out there about IF. We've covered them. Some of them say no material impact. This one clearly says there's more of a risk. Other studies have said it's actually good for heart health. It reduces inflammation, etc. There's a slew of those kinds of studies. How are we supposed to think? A person without a medical...
Some important things to note here. It was done on 20,000 people, which is pretty significant. However, this was not a peer-reviewed study or a meta-analysis. It was self-reported data, which means you always need to take that with a big fat grain of salt. It did not take into account what these participants were eating, which is obviously a huge piece of the puzzle. And lastly, they found that this group of people had less muscle mass, which means they were not eating enough protein, and they were probably eating a bunch of ultra-processed bullshit. So my takeaway from all this is intermittent fasting definitely works and has helped a lot of people, but it doesn't work for everybody. I would approach this with personalization and definitely avoid ultra-processed food.